All right, Jake, here we are on a special episode of the Battleground behind the scenes. We're going to unpack Battleground for our audience. And,
Yeah.
I want to kick this thing off with telling everybody if you don't know what Boardroom Battleground is, this is the perfect show for you to watch. We're going to walk you through everything, tell you why we did what we did, and begin you down this journey. And once we're done, you can find it right on this channel, right on the on demand. And then we're going to re air the show. It's going to be wonderful. We've got a really, really, really action packed game show for people that pulls the curtain back on the entrepreneurial world and the coaching world. And I don't know anybody that's doing that. Do you? Do you know anybody that's hitting you across with what we're doing? I think it's a unicorn here.
It is. I agree with that. I think it is a unicorn, Mike. I think, that's why we kind of did it and why we felt compelled to do it in the first place was the fact that this hasn't been done and the fact that we know like there's a couple things that occurred in our universe that basically said, hey, you guys need to do this. And we've got the podcast that looks just like this. You guys are used to seeing us on Sundays and on demand, and this is where it comes from. And Mike and I talk about the real business conversations, the taking care of you, the taking care of your mindset, the taking care of the business fundamentals, the tools, the tactics, the techniques. Not shortcut stuff, the stuff that you've got to do. That's insanely simple. Like we talk about that all the time. And that's a huge foundational piece for what our coaching programs are as well, and how we coach our rosters, in everything that we do. So I do a lot in leadership development, organizational development, and communication skills. That's my wheelhouse. That's where I live in a coaching perspective. And Mike has a different wheelhouse. I'm going to let him talk to you about what his space is, what he deals with. What we know is true is there's most business owners, like a lot of them. I'm gonna use a broad statement. Don't know what coaching is or what coaching does and can do for their business. They don't know, and there's nothing out there that's showing what that journey looks like. How an entrepreneur shows up, a business owner, a startup, take your pick, and we've got several different variations of that during the season. But there's no way to know unless you're in coaching. Well, we decided, like Mike said, we pulled the curtain back on this and we said, all right, let's show what coaching does, what we really do. And coaching has become kind of a black box term, if you will. It's really strategic advisors. That's what we do. We get into the business in the very strategic spots that we are specialists in, that business owners are blind to. And we help them unpack that and move forward, whether they're scaling, heading towards an exit strategy, headed towards a buyout. They're just getting launched and they're working towards net worth. We're all doing that. And then that's where, like, and I want this happens all the time. I just start unpacking and Mike's just very kindly waiting for me to shut up. But the reality is, we're really passionate about this. This is what we're professionals at, and this is what we do. So that's where Battleground started. Is we said the world needs to see this, and they need to see these business owners what it really looks like, not the Facebook or Instagram version of, hey, I launched a business yesterday and I made $10 million last night, and now my budget for a house is 50 million. Like, you see, that's not even real. It's not real, man. It might have
Yeah.
happened to somebody, but that's what a lot of people think. The entrepreneurial journey is well, I'll just quit my 9 to 5 job and I'll be an entrepreneur. I'll have all this free time and I'll make all this money and I'll do all these things, right? That's what they think it looks like.
Right.
And this show demonstrates what it really is, that it is work. It is a passion project. There's great financial rewards in being an entrepreneur, and it's work. But what did I miss there? What in the basic broad strokes of why we started this?
Well, what we wanted to do, right? So there's a story behind a story. There's a personal side and a professional side behind every entrepreneurial journey. And just like every employee has a personal and professional side, but in entrepreneurism, a lot of people are doing a lot of roles, and they're, sort of, if you don't push wind in your own sails, the boat doesn't move. And it's just a constant, right? And it's fun, it's addictive, but it's a different thought process. There's not a big corporate budget, right? There's not this, okay, let me just pull from, no, sometimes you're bootstrapping. Sometimes you're showing things that are pretty unreal and surreal to people that they can't believe is happening, and the highs and the lows and the idea to impact, right? So what what we're doing here with this whole show is we're showing the world these amazing people. We're showing them as people. We're showing them as professionals. We're showing them making that transformation in the, hey, I'm a normal human being. Now all of a sudden, here's my superpower, and I'm running with it. And that's essentially what Battleground does. And then we have an awesome group of coaches that has done that, right? They've gone from, hey, I was here, and now I'm here. And let me help these professionals as we know how, right? So you and I have handpicked a awesome group of coaches, both men and women, very diverse in terms of just everything, right? From experience, scope, field, ethnicity. Everybody's kind of got a little their own little magic going on. Contestants as well. The show is not slanted to any one group or any one gender or anyone anything, and that's the cool part about it, right? Is everyone out there in the world with a maximally great idea is trying to make an impact and then trying to make a living. We really just peeled the curtain back. And the exciting part about it is we showed human beings doing their thing. So even if you're not into coaching, even if you don't care about these entrepreneurs, you want to see a little human drama, the show's got it. It literally has all elements. And you and I, we haven't gotten into our whole world of struggles, but I guess you could tune into our other show and check that out. But in
You
terms
could.
of,
There's quite a few episodes on demand, as you mentioned. You can check all that out.
yep.
So
And back to my area of expertise, when I coach people on the way their executive function, the way they're taking care of themselves, and how they're mapping out their whole healthcare, their wellness, and the way their energy levels are, right? And what I mean by that is maximum output, maximum focus. And when there's a problem, I get called in to help realign and make somebody get to where they have to go quicker, faster, so they're not distracted by being pulled down by negative anything. I find that, the whole biz dev side of things, I did that thousands and thousands of times. And I don't care to do that part of the whole realm of coaching. I'll do it in this particular format. But I just found that the other side, right? That connection of how well somebody is versus what's going on out there in the world, that connection for me is a true passion. So let's talk about let's break down our coaches, right? So again, we've assembled five coaches, four coaches, five
we got
coaches.
4 coaches plus you and I.
So, me and you, we
Yep.
already talked about. Let's talk about Jen Loving. Jen Loving is one of our coaches in season one. Maybe she'll be back in season two. You'll have to stay tuned to find out because we are casting for season two. So season one, Jen Loving, right? She literally started like six-figure businesses, took it from 0 to 6 figures in a record amount of time. And
Mm-hmm.
she's an amazing woman. She's got amazing focus. She's got a very understated presence. She's not magnanimous, but yes, she's a speaker, and she has a full fledged coaching program, speaker program. She's got all her own stuff. And when she got a hold of our people, she really tried to help push them to transform through speaking. Now, when and messaging, right? Getting their messages correct. And Jake, why don't you talk about what is messaging while we're talking to the general population here?
So your messaging, and you're right. This is one of those reasons. So here's where I want you guys to understand. We put this collective together, this board of directors, because Mike has a specialty, I have a specialty, and it's not everything to everybody. And we shouldn't be doing that. We are special, and that's why we're doing it. So Jen Loving is
Oh,
a
we're
speaker
special.
coach and a messaging coach, and she's a specialist there, and she's one of the best at doing it. So your messaging is, what do I do? I can make this really simple. You guys can go watch a Simon Sinek video, Start With Why, on YouTube. It's 14 minutes. It's what launched his career. Go check that out. That talks all
Who is
about
that guy, by the way?
who is that guy? Who is Simon Sinek?
I
Uh,
know
he,
who he
he
is, but what did he do? Do you know?
well, he's a Harvard. he's got every degree for one. I'm pretty sure he's a doctor as well. And does what I do very, very simply. He at a very, very high level. He is a leadership, organizational development, started out in software. So he does a lot of SaaS work, but he is very much has figured out the algorithm, if you will, for corporate communication and workplace wellness, just overall happiness of what they do. So he's got several great books out there. I love Start With Why is one of my favorite books. The Infinite Game, great book. He's got, and we don't get pitched by Simon. I'm just telling you, he's got some good stuff out there. But back to messaging. So messaging is, what do I do? How do I do it? And the most important, why do I do it? And being able to communicate that as a business owner to your consumer, to your client, to your customer in such a way that they completely understand it, they buy in, and they want to do business with you. That is if Webster could define it, that's how I would define messaging of what it's for. So you can reach your target audience of who, because you can't, what we know from a communication standpoint is one form of messaging does not work for everybody, because everybody is not for that. They learn differently, they retain information differently, and your product may not be for everybody depending on what you do. So you need to be able to reach your audience and so that they understand right now what you do, and they say, man, I want to do business with you. I want to buy your product. I want to use your service. That's when you get your messaging right. And it is a critical and crucial element that you'll see a ton through this season. And I think Jen does an amazing job with it.
I agree. And what you're saying is 100% true about messaging. And in entrepreneurs, we struggle, right? We're good at one particular element of business. We suck at 5 other elements.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with entrepreneurs is sometimes you get that solopreneur and they don't even realize they've had some success, enough to make money and enough to make a little bit of a living and enough to, hire a couple people, but they're not always, you hear this term a lot, surrounded by the best people. So what we tried to do was we tried to surround people with the best people, and Jen was definitely one of them, and push people where they are. Right? Not everybody has the same exact problem. Messaging is, in general, how you're speaking to people, whether it's on a commercial or whether it's in public speaking, customers, whatever it might be. Right? It doesn't. That's messaging, right? And everyone has a little bit different flaw. And as you see through the show, the recommendations and the execution, I think we captured that. So as I move off Jen and I go to our good friend AP, Anthony Perez. AP is a great guy. AP is a veteran. He's a speaker coach. He's a speaker. He's a leadership speaker, and he is a strategic relationships guy. I mean, this is the kind of guy that's teaching you how to create relationships that are going to profit and last a lifetime, how to be good at them, how to work them in an honest way, and also a messaging guy, right? But just a little bit different message. And he's a big heartfelt dude, right? He doesn't have a tough exterior, but he's a tough guy. And he's got kind of a very forward sort of personality. So to get to know Anthony, he's very opinionated in a good way and open-minded in the same way. So Anthony will tell you how it is. You'll love him for it, and you'll hate him for it. And he will not only stimulate you to grow, right? He asks for help. It's amazing. Anthony is one of those most genuine people I have ever run into in my entire life. He walks the walk, talks the talk. I'll give you an example. One of Anthony's businesses is a cleaning company, and he had a contract to clean a building. He was on his way somewhere, and the employee or contractor that he had hired to do the job was sick, and the job needed to get done. Anthony cleaned the building in his suit, or did what he had to do until somebody else came and relieved him in his suit, on his way somewhere. That's the kind of person we want on our show. That's the kind of, we are hoping that when we run into these entrepreneurs, they become like Anthony mentally. Not cloning Anthony, but having that energy and that
Mm-hmm.
drive. So, what am I leaving out about Anthony? Why don't you talk to me about how he transforms some people? Do you have any examples?
Well, he talks a lot about, and the first book that he wrote was all about servant leadership. So Anthony's also a TED Talk speaker. You know, he's in one of his key element that Anthony works in is influence, not
Okay.
necessarily impact, but he works in influence. And he talks about that very hyper focused on a local level, belly to belly business. And I don't want to say this, a lot of people are going to go, wow, that's pretty old school tactics. No, that's business at its most rare and defined element. Yes, there's
Yep.
this component that we're using, which is the digital and the virtual space. That's true. And yet, so much business is being done because of relationships and influence at that belly to belly level. So Anthony is engaged in his community. He sits on multiple boards. He is, I don't know what more to say about it. Like if you go to Colorado Springs, Colorado, you can talk to dang near anybody in there and you're going to say, hey, you know, Anthony Perez, and they're going to go, yeah, I've talked to that guy. He is a well-dressed dude. And
Yep.
he is, like Mike said, he cleaned the building in his suit. First time that I met Anthony, I was grossly underdressed for the event we were at because Anthony showed up. Man, he is just clean cut. You know, he is a ex-military, so he is a veteran in that regard, and that just sticks with him. And he is dedicated to seeing his people succeed.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about the guy. And
No, we can't.
he'll tell you how it is. And he'll often give you the shortcut to what you need to do and a way you need to think that'll get you once you start implementing it to the next level. And we saw that countless times in the show. So as we roll down, let's go into Melissa. So Melissa,
Mm-hmm.
right? She's Melissa Hughes. She's awesome. She was our social media slash external messaging. You know, you always want to have a quote unquote marketing person. I mean, she did what, a viral video that went so huge. She
Her
went from
first
like her
viral
story
video was 22 million views.
like a mother of two to like
Mm-hmm.
some superstar online. 22 million views. You know, you always want someone like that around. Young woman, mother, family person. So to get an early entrepreneur with early success in terms of a ramp up in messaging, that's cool. And to hear her perspectives on people and questions she even asked us, it was really cool. We grew a lot. Even the show, like you'll see the show change. You'll see different elements of the show change based on her influence and input. You'll see the show change based on a lot of people's influence and input because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, we had an idea and that idea took better shape over season one. And I'll admit it was flawed, but it's still flawed, right? There's nothing that's ever perfect. However, you know, come season two, uh, you'll see even a lot more evolution, right? The production will be different. The quality will be different. The contestants will be different. Maybe some coaches. So, you know, get this gem of season one down just to get the flavor because we're not done impacting people by showing other people's stories. So, don't want to go too long in the tooth about the rest of the coaches because I do want to get to the contestants. So let's go with Chad Mitchell. This dude's an enigma. I mean, I don't. His this guy will start talking to you, and he'll be running on and on and on and on, and you'll be like, "Whoa!" Right? You know, where's the pause button? Right? It's almost like you engage in the conversation, and the guy's like, "Bang!" You could definitely tell he's not a radio guy. No sound bites there. So, why don't you talk about Chad? I mean, I just kind of ran on about Melissa a little bit. Why don't you talk about Chad?
So Chad is our financial guy. He is our plain and simple. He is your fractional CFO for this season, and his passion is understanding the numbers that the contestants aren't seeing and understanding the bigger. Like, I'll give you an example. One of the things that we've talked about, and you'll hear it during the season, is where a lot of the contestants are, Mike's used this term, we've all used it, bootstrapping. And we've done it, right? Bootstrapping. And that is what bootstrapping means is I am stroking the checks to pay for the thing, right? I am literally bleeding for this business. And Chad works really hard at getting his clients to understand that there's such a thing as good debt, that there's such a thing as you need to take on a certain amount of good debt for capital so that you can scale your business. It can
Yep.
grow faster. Because a lot of times, and we see this, and there's business owners out there that are doing it, is they're looking at their bank account and they're like, well, I can't afford to hire Melissa Hughes right now for my social media person. I got to wait next month. And they're asking their bank account permission to do that when they'll have the income to do it. It's not the wrong thing to do. And when you secure some good debt for capital, you're able to do some of those things to scale your business and move your business faster. So that's Chad really, really works hard on that. And he's made some great relationships and has the ability to create some good business credit. And that's been one of the biggest advantages of it.
Uh-huh.
He's one of the, what's good and bad about Chad, and this is what I love him. Chad is, I'm going to call him Luke Skywalker. I'm going to go with a Star Wars reference. I never use Star Wars references here. He is Luke Skywalker. Remember the part where Yoda says, never paying attention to where you are and what you're doing, always looking ahead, always looking to the future. That's Chad. He is always 25 steps ahead, thinking about 2.5, 3 years from now where that's going to go when we do this now. He's not thinking about, okay, today, what does it look like? It's,
Right.
he is really future casting. He's a great visionary that way.
I agree with Chad with that about Chad, and he's got some amazing tools that he deployed that really helped out a lot of people on this show. He's got this sort of way to track finances. He takes the financial part, the boring part, and actually sexes it up, which is awesome.
He does make
So,
it. He does make it actually look kind of sexy. That's true.
right. So let's jump over to our contestants. Now we're going to start with Donnie Corm. I love this guy and grossly underestimated. And I feel like the Donnie story from who he is and was by the time the season is over, like he picks up like at the end of the season almost, where you just start to go, wow, wait a minute. This guy seems one way, but he's really for real. This is his deal. He's the man. He's awesome. And that's to me part of what we really that we're not going to announce any winners on this, but right, like that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see that, like this guy is this way and he feels like he's this way, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, brand new version of this guy, same words, just the show as it went on told a different story. Donnie's in the real estate business. That's a fast-paced business. I don't know. I love the guy. I love who he is. I love what he is. And I like how authentic he is. And I encourage the audience to look at the show, look at the authenticity of Donnie, and see if you can see the change without there being any change at all. I'll leave that with your cliffhanger.
All
So now
right, that's
let's go to
solid.
your girl Emily.
Emily Capshaw she used to run numbers. That's a fun way to saying she was a CFO. She ran numbers for the U.S. Olympic Committee out of Colorado Springs. And she switched from the corporate space into the entrepreneurial space, into the affiliate and network marketing space because of an amazing product that she came across that was life-changing for her. She's got a killer story in this, guys. What happened to her to how she found this product, and now she is using this product really to change lives. It's absolutely amazing, and she's just such a sweetheart. She is got a heart for animals. She's a big equine person. She's into equine athletics because she's part of the rodeo world, and her kids are part of it. You'll get to see them and part of the series. She's just such good people, like just old term salt of the earth kind of person, and has such amazing potential with what she's doing. And we saw some significant growth out of her, and you're going to see it in this season.
Awesome. So let's jump into Mark, right? Mark Fitzwater.
Mark Fitzwater.
Yeah. what can I say? Mark went from being a soldier to he's still a soldier, but from a soldier to a life changing guy to help people, incorporate self defense. And we were pushing Mark to do more with his training and go beyond the weapons, go beyond and go more into the details of life. We'll see. I mean, Mark's evolution is still evolving, right? I-68 Consulting. You went there. It's in the middle of nowhere, but he does an amazing job. And you picked up some tips as well. So,
I did.
Mark, true blue
Yeah,
American guy.
yeah, one of the biggest things that I had the opportunity to personally spend some time with Mark one-on-one in person with him, and not just across, digital platforms. And by all accounts, I am an accomplished shooter. Like, I understand how to operate firearms very, very well. I've done it my entire life, for various reasons, fun, safety, meat collection, whatever you want to call it. And I am very accomplished at it. But Mark has a passion for teaching that I have rarely seen, amongst a lot of coaches and things. And his engagement level, I watched, and you guys will see this, during the season, and watch for it because it's beautiful. He's got a 70, I think she's 73 or 75-year-old grandmother. She's got purple hair, little gal, terrified of what she's doing. And Mark's a built dude. You guys are going to see it. I mean, he's a Green Beret, man. Guy's built. And he was in her bubble in such a way and made her feel so comfortable and confident in what she was doing. Like, she just about cried because she's never felt so safe before. And just his ability to bring that, but he's able to do it with everybody. It's very, very cool. So I can't wait for you guys to see how he engages. And that's, look for this, and I'll leave it as a little bit of cliffhanger for you guys of, can Mark get away from being an amazing trainer and run the business?
Right. Well, I think you're right. That's a good cliffhanger. All right, so we're almost out of time, dude. Should we keep going, or should we save it for our next?
Let's bring it up in the next one. We got a couple more contestants to talk about. Let's round it out on Thursday.
All right, everybody, check it out on Thursday. We'll see you right here, same time.